Here's some pro advice for you. Your financial health and your credit health are not necessarily the same thing. You see, you can have revolving credit card debt at around 30% of your credit limit, and it won't necessarily affect your credit poorly, but that will affect your financial health. In other words, you'll be paying interest on that debt. That interest is money that you can be using elsewhere. For example, investing or saving. But there's a secret bonus technique for doing this that no one talks about that can enable you to make large purchases and avoid revolving debt and carrying a balance month to month. So watch until the end so you don't miss it. How to climb the credit card tier list in 2023. Climbing the credit card tier list typically involves improving your credit worthiness and financial habits over time. Let me give you a couple steps in this video to help you progress through credit card tiers and gain access to better credit card offers and better credit overall. But one of the first things you want to do is you want to know where you want to go. The most important point about getting up the credit card tier list is understanding what your motivation for getting up there really is. Are you trying to build a good credit score to purchase a home, a car, or other big purchases? Are you looking to become more credit worthy to get a business loan that you can then leverage to purchase a franchise? Maybe start a small business of some kind, that sort of thing. Maybe you have a smaller goal and you're just looking to be able to afford a nicer vacation or get the new laptop that you have your eye on. All those are legit goals and can be achieved successfully with having minimal revolving debt. But the steps you emphasize and focus on will change based on those goals. Pro tip, aim high. Being creditworthy can open up many financial opportunities for you aside from getting a fancy, high limit, sweet rewards credit card. So think big. You can do it with a little discipline and a lot more know-how. Speaking of which, the next thing you need to do, once you know where you want to go, is understand where you are. These first 2 points are the 1-2 punch of achieving any goal, exactly like reading a map. But for climbing up the credit card tier list, specifically this means you need to check your credit score and obtain a copy of your credit report to identify areas in need improvement. This is the easy part. You can obtain a free credit report from each of the 3 major credit card bureaus. By now you should know these guys off by heart: Equifax, Experian, and TransUnion. You can get this report once a year through annualcreditreport.com. In addition to that, you can pay a service like Credit Karma to get your credit report on a revolving basis, so you can see where you are on each step of the journey. Now, this is where the discussion of credit card debt rears its ugly head. But just know, even if you're in debt, you can take the steps to get yourself very high on the credit card tier list. It's all about the strategies that you employ. This is similar to the map analogy. And like the map analogy, once you know where you want to go and where you are stepping from, you need to take the steps to get there. And you start that with establishing good credit habits. You've likely heard this advice a million times by now, particularly if you're interested in this topic. But there's a reason for that. It's true. And fundamentals win championships. What are those good habits? There are 3 main habits that you need to master. And the foundational principle that makes everything else work together is to make sure you pay all your credit card bills on time. And this really splits into 2 main techniques. Pay your full balance on time and avoid carrying any month-to-month credit balance. It goes without saying that you should be paying your full balance every month. You should be doing this every time, with only a couple of exceptions. But the exceptions should really only be when you have a large purchase that you've already budgeted for. So think vacation, new laptop. But the only way that this works is that you maintain low credit utilization, ideally below 30% of your total credit limit. If you, for example, max out your credit cards every month, that is considered a red flag as far as your credit is concerned. You see, the credit card companies are thinking that you'll not be able to pay that whole amount in a reasonable time frame, and that you're causing heartburn for them. You also shouldn't have a revolving balance that's about 30% of your credit limit. Ideally, for your financial health, and not necessarily your credit health, your monthly balance should be 0. Here's some pro advice for you. Your financial health and your credit health are not necessarily the same thing. You see, you can have revolving credit card debt at around 30% of your credit limit, and it won't necessarily affect your credit poorly, but that will affect your financial health. In other words, you'll be paying interest on that debt. And that interest is money that you can be using elsewhere. For example, investing or saving. But there's a secret bonus technique for doing this that no one talks about that can enable you to make large purchases and avoid revolving debt and carrying a balance month to month. So watch until the end so you don't miss it. But the last credit habit you should develop is to really get lazy with your credit. What do I mean by being lazy with your credit? That is, don't be too energetic when applying for credit accounts in a short period of time. If you apply for a new credit card, every time you see a credit card video on YouTube, you're likely going to affect your credit in a very negative way. Finance, like a lot of things, is really about discipline, and you really should exercise discipline to not apply for credit cards until you either need a new credit card or you're looking to go up the credit tier list. But if you haven't had a credit card before, or you have and maybe you had bad habits at that time, what can you do? Well, you start by keeping it simple, and you start with a basic credit card. If you have credit or poor credit, consider starting with a secure credit card or a credit builder card. These types of cards are created especially for the situation where you're looking to build your credit and are starting at 0 or rebuilding your credit and you need somewhere to get started. Like anything else, there are two sides to this coin. The positive is that credit builder cards have lower credit requirements than standard cards. But the one thing that detracts from these types of cards is that they typically require a security deposit. So effectively, they behave like debit cards, which in all honesty is one of their better selling points in my mind. But if you're starting from nothing or you're rebuilding your credit, they're the way to go. Once you're moving in the right direction, now you need to make sure you're staying on track. So monitor your credit score. Regularly checking your credit score to track your progress and make adjustments to your financial habits as needed is very important. Many credit card issuers and financial institutions offer free access to your credit score. And like I mentioned earlier, you can use a couple of different services to monitor your credit if you need to review more frequently or check on your progress. So by now, you should really be on your way, and it's time to upgrade or apply for a higher tier card. Once you have a solid credit history and a higher credit score, you may become eligible for credit cards with better rewards, lower interest rates, and more attractive perks. Now you can either consider upgrading your current card with your existing issuer or applying for a new card that better aligns with your spending habits and financial goals and has the perks that you're looking for. Remember, there are all kinds of reward cards out there, and the perks can be wildly different between each one. And at this point, it's all right to apply for more credit cards, within reason. You will affect your credit score by applying, but it should be a temporary dip if you maintain good credit habits. By this point in time, you're now on the path of healthy credit utilization. You're on the pathway of becoming rich and getting richer. Now, it's a little bit crass, but it is true. You see, the reason that the rich get richer is the same reason that flywheels continue to spin once they get started, and boulders roll downhill once they get moving. It's called momentum. Getting in good credit momentum makes credit card providers want to provide you with more credit, and they almost start to beg you to take it. Not really, but once your credit is in the 800 plus level, getting new credit becomes very simple, and you're now eligible for the best interest rates on auto loans, mortgages, the list goes on and on. So continue to pay your bills on time, meaning paying off the balances in full every time, every month, except for in certain circumstances, and keep your credit utilization low to avoid taking on too much debt. This will help you maintain a high credit score and access to top tier credit cards. Don't forget to diversify your credit mix. Having a mix of different types of credit, e.g. credit cards, installment loans, mortgages, can positively impact your credit score. So if you currently have a card that you use for groceries or gas, consider getting a card for recurring things like bills or rent. It's worth avoiding getting a mortgage until you can secure the best possible mortgage rate, but when you can, consider getting that as well. Also, with mortgages and owning a home, you want to consider all the financial implications therewith. I'm sort of a home owner downer. I can talk about that in a later video, but for your financial future, you probably can do better than owning a home. I'll leave that there for now. You want to consider the fact that while owning a home is profitable, it isn't always the most profitable debt you can get into. Nevertheless, diversifying your credit portfolio will further improve your credit worthiness, along with being loyal, which is why I want to leverage loyalty programs. Many high-tier credit cards offer rewards programs and benefits, and they're tied to specific brands, airlines, and hotel chains. You're going to want to take advantage of these loyalty programs to maximize the value of your credit card. Once you get all these basics down, now it's time to bend the credit card rules and use other techniques to really supercharge your credit, which takes me to my super secret credit card technique that people never talk about. So you have the basics down. You pay your balance in full every time. You have a diverse credit mix. You don't utilize more than 30% of your credit at any one point in time. It's time to go to the next level. Mastering this technique can take you to the next level as a true credit card whisperer. Here it is. Identify a large purchase that you'll need to or want to make in the near future. It can be as mundane as a rent payment, or maybe a new laptop, or it could be as speculative as a large cryptocurrency purchase. But it needs to be at some point in the future, not today. Some point in the future. That's going to be key, and you'll understand why in a second. After you've done that, identify a credit card that you want to earn rewards points on. It can be a credit card that you already have, or it can be one that you want to get, and the rewards could be different. But all this is based on your goals. This next point is key. You need to use a saving mechanism, either a high-yield savings account, or a certificate of deposit, or it could be something as sophisticated as a bond ETF. There are complications with taxes and capital gains with some of the more advanced techniques, so keep it simple, like a high-yield ETF, or maybe a certificate of deposit. You just need to pick a vehicle to save up the amount of funds that you'll need to make your large purchase. This point is also key, but you need to save up the amount that you will need. You'll need discipline for this step, but you should have it because you built this muscle while you have built up your credit, right? Once you've saved up, you then make the large purchase using the credit card you identified in step number 2. But you now take the money from your savings vehicle, high-yield savings account, matured CD or bond, whatever, and you pay off the entire balance in full. You now should have made the purchase you were looking for. You should have captured the reward points on your new credit card and utilized advanced savings techniques to get your credit into the stratosphere. There's so much more to go over on things like this. If you want to learn more about secret credit techniques, you're going to want to click on the video you see on your screen right now. And remember, a goal without a plan is a wish. A goal with a plan and no action is a wish list. I'll catch you guys in the next video. Like, subscribe, turn on post notifications, and I'll see you next time. Peace.